Hello, bonjour, bonsoir. How are you? I am so happy to welcome you to this workshop today here on Crowdcast. I am Mary Schiller, your hostess with the mostest of maryschiller.com. Hello, Nina. Hello, Craig. As you're jumping on, please feel free to say hello in the chat. And one of my favorite features of Crowdcast is the fact that we can even chat before the event starts and we can chat afterwards if you like. The replay appears right on this page, which is pretty awesome. So this is the only link you need to remember. Let's see. Hi, Steve. Hi, Jeanette. Hi, Linda. So nice to see everybody here. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me for this workshop all about creating a really amazing one-to-one coaching offer using done for you content. And what's exciting for me is I actually prepared a slideshow, which if you are familiar with me at all, you know I normally don't use slides, but I really thought it would help. And something funny, of course, happened today. So, I get all the slides done yesterday. Today, I go back and look at them and I realize I wanted to make a couple of changes. And of course, if you were on Canva today, you might have noticed that Canva was down for quite a long time. So I couldn't even access my slideshow. So I had downloaded a PDF yesterday of the old version. And I thought, well, I guess if worse comes to worse, hi, Mimi, I'll just use that one. But then Canva miraculously came back online. So now I have the fancy one with some animations and cool stuff. So, gosh, how are you all doing? How is everybody today? I feel like all of my good friends are here. And if you are new to me, thank you so much for joining either live or on the replay. I really, really appreciate it. And those of you who have known me for a while, you know how much you mean to me. So thank you so much for being here. So who is ready to get started? Hi, Graham. Good to see you. Gosh, all my friends. Who wants to see this amazing slideshow? Because I am kind of into it. Once I got into the design. Hi, Mary. Hi, Ian. Nice to meet you. I'm so glad you're here. Hi, Nina. You're here for the slideshow, Nina. You guys are really cracking me up. Yeah, let's see the slides, Craig says. Okay, here we go. If I can remember how to do this on Canva. All right, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to go right over here. There we are, except now I can't see you guys. Hang on a minute. I'm going to hang on. Let me stop sharing that because I couldn't see you. That was an amazing slide. Well, I think I'm just going to go for it anyway. And I will just pause at certain points. And okay, awesome, Susan. I will share the slides and then I will jump off at certain points to check back in the chat. And I should also mention that if you have a specific question as we go through, please type where it says ask a question. You see where it says ask a question? Just type your question there because then I'm sure to see it and it won't go by in the chat. And also I can mark it on the replay when I answer. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share these slides, even though I can't see the chat anymore once I do that. It seems like I should be able to, but I can't. So we're just going to go for it anyway. All right, so I will come back on in a minute and check in with you guys, all right? Okay, amazing. Private coaching offer using done for you content. Oh, and let me say, first of all, that I really want to emphasize here that as much as we tout things like online courses and all kinds of things like that, I still believe in the power of one-to-one coaching very, very much. So that's one reason why I am doing this presentation with you. So we'll go no longer than 60 minutes. And if you can stay until the end, there is a surprise. But if you catch the replay, you will see the surprise towards the end. And I will also put a link in the chat. All right, you are in the right place if you're a coach already, or you want to be a coach. You want to start making an income and an impact now, please and thank you. You want to learn how to create a one-to-one offer that people will love, and so will you. And you're curious about done for you content. So basically, in a nutshell, you'd love to start selling your next coaching offer in the next 24 hours or less, and you want to make everything simpler. So I am Mary Schiller. I am the creator of Course Books, which is done for you content for coaches. I myself have been a coach since 2016 because coaching changed my life, both as a client and as a coach myself. I was really inspired to become a coach because of what a coach did for me. So I kind of changed careers in midlife and just decided that I wanted to become a coach. I'm also an expert coaching program and online course creator. I am an online learning expert and have been a professional writer since forever. So I bring a lot to this conversation, probably about 20 something years of online education experience, and even more as a writer and teacher. And I wanted to put this slide here today. This is why I wanted to get back on Canva, because really just knowing that you're here right now makes me so happy. So thank you so much for being here. And in case no one has told you lately, you are an incredible human being, and I just appreciate you more than I can express. So in a nutshell, now I am not going to spend 10 minutes talking about myself because that's not what you're here for. But what coaching did for me, and what specifically doing one-to-one coaching did for me, was it allowed me to break out of the cubicle, which I was stuck in for a very, very long time, and really allowed me to change my life entirely. And I should mention, if you're new to me, you may not have heard this before, you probably haven't, that I didn't have any coach training when I started. I didn't have any huge following or anything like that. I was just really inspired to help people in the way that I had been helped. And as a nice bonus, becoming an entrepreneurial coach allowed me to break free of the cubicle forever and really give me the life that I always wanted, which was one filled with opportunities to travel, to live near our daughter who lives in England, and to move here to Paris, France from the States. And so I really feel like coaching, in particular, what one-to-one coaching did for me for quite a long time, allowed me to have the life that I have now. That's why I'm so passionate about this. So earlier this year in 2022, I started writing done for you content for coaches. And I wanted to bring all of my experience as a writer, author, online educator, coach, all of that, so that I could save you time and become essentially an invisible member of your team. Because my mission now is to help you live your dream. That truly is my mission in life. I want to support you in any way that I can so that you can live the way that you really want to live. And if you're a coach or you want to be a coach, that you're able to do that in the way that is suitable to you. So before I go into this part, I just want to check on something here. So how many of you are familiar with done for you content? Have you heard of it before? I know some of you have heard of it through me now, but have you heard of it before? Yes, Nina has. Yes, Jeanette has. Okay. Yes, PLR, Mary says private label rights. So I'm just very curious because, Craig says heard through you and bought some, but not used it. Okay. I'm glad you said that, Craig, because that's kind of what I want to address in this workshop, is how you can start to use it only through me. Okay. So a few of you are, and maybe you have bought some in the past and not used it. That's actually a really typical thing that happens with this kind of content, is that people will buy it and then they will sort of forget that they have it. And I don't want that to happen for you, because it is an investment and it is worth using. Yes, you've heard of products, not really course books, Mimi says. So, you know, I will get into this in just a minute, but private label rights, as it's called, can come in many forms. So let me go back to my screen share here, and I will talk just a bit about that. Okay. So what is done for you content? Some of you mentioned PLR, private label rights. That is another word for it. Some people call it a white label. Some people call it brandable. It's all essentially the same thing. It's the fact that you buy the rights to use the content and then you can put your name on it. So you don't actually own the copyright, but you can use the content in almost any way that you want to. So providers each have a list of do's and don'ts. So, for example, one of the don'ts that every provider has, this is across the board, including me, is that you can't take private label rights content that you buy and make it into an ebook that you put on Amazon, because it's against Amazon's rules to do something like that. Like one of my rules is that if you take something of mine and you want to sell it on a platform like PayHip or Gumroad, these kind of online platforms where you can sell digital products, you do have to make it your own in some way. Add your branding, add your colors, things like that, because no one wants to see the exact same content everywhere. It's really unlikely to happen. But I will say that there are certain providers, I'll talk about this in a minute, whose stuff can kind of appear in lots of different places. But the way that I have really designed the content that I write, it's very unique and it's very easy for you to customize. I see there's a question. I will pause in just a moment and address that. So there are many types of PLR providers. Some are good, some are better, and some are just plain awful. I mean, if you have heard of this kind of content before, it's been around for a really long time. And it sort of used to serve mostly people who were writing these kind of niche websites, and they were affiliates for things. Do you know what I'm talking about? So they would have, they would be like an Amazon affiliate, and they would have links to all kinds of products on Amazon related to a specific topic. And then they would buy private label rights articles and just slap them on the website to get some traction, like in searches and things. That type of PLR is frankly horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And I'm just telling you this not to toot my own horn, because there are some really good providers out there, but you just have to be careful of what you're buying. A good rule of thumb I have found is many of these providers will let you download something for free. That's a very good indicator of what the quality is like and what you're likely to get from them. Another way to sort of check is to see, like a couple of one that I would recommend for business content, they have their own Facebook group. They're very active. You can kind of tell by the way someone conducts their business as well. And I'll give you another clue here in just a moment. Yeah, Mary says, I bought some very cheap content. It was cheap and a waste of money. Yeah, and that is like my nightmare with this. Like, I don't, obviously I'm a proponent of this type of content, but only if it's really good. And I will explain how I've used content that I've purchased in the past that was good. I also think that the better PLR providers specialize in one overall topic. So, like I said, business, life coaching, and so on. I have noticed that the providers who have the best writers working for them, whose content is the best, have a focus. So like one company I know of specializes in business. Another one is actually a second one is also a business focused one. There's another one that's been around for a really long time who they are very expensive, and they generally focus on kind of life coaching slash like productivity and things like that. But you'll see that a lot of the PLR providers kind of have a mishmash of all different kinds of topics. And to me, that's a bit of a warning sign, because to me, that means that they're probably hiring a lot of different writers to work for them, and they're not all going to be at the same level of quality. As far as I know, I'm the only person writing every word myself. There might be one other person, but she kind of specializes in those short articles for those kinds of websites, not like what I'm doing. I write on evergreen life coaching topics. Let me see what my next slide is, and then I may, let me stop sharing, and I'm going to just jump over here and see what the question is. That's a good question, Han. Let me answer your other question. Okay, so you have a couple of questions. How much is expensive? And then what will a coachee get out of it? Do you mean, just to clarify, if you can mention in the chat, get out of the use of this type of content? Is that what you're asking? I just want to be clear. But I want to say that for expensive, okay, got it. I'm going to address that in a little bit. So thank you for asking that. So I would say by expensive, my content starts at $47 and goes up to a couple hundred. The one that is a lot more starts at around 300 and goes up from there up to like 1,000, something like that. So, there is, I hate to say that you get what you pay for, but you kind of do. You kind of do. And so it's just one of those things where, you do have to be a little bit careful. So let me address your question, Han, a little bit later. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. A little bit later, I'm going to talk about how I have used this kind of content in what sort of time frame, and some ways to use it for the person who is being coached. All right. Awesome. Thanks. Okay. If you have any other questions, anybody, feel free to type where it says ask a question. All right. Back to, so a lot of the time when I mention this kind of content, people will say, is this ethical? Is it ethical to buy content and then use it to create your own coaching program, a private coaching program, for example, as we're talking about here? Is it at all weird that other people are buying the same content and turning it into whatever? And my feeling is it's absolutely ethical. There's nothing wrong with it at all. And, I, as I'll say in a second, I have used it myself to great effect for me and for the person who has received what I've been coaching them with, as you'll see in just one of the examples that I have. And so I have no problem at all with this. And let me just explain why. I believe the next slide will say this. So when you use done for you content, a lot of the time your coaching offer is going to be better, and you're going to save a lot of time because it's organized in such a way that it will flow in a way that maybe you aren't used to constructing yourself. I'll explain more in just a moment. And also, this is really key, is that a lot of PLR providers like myself and others really know what topics sell best. So if you're wondering, oh gosh, what are people really interested in? I'd love to help people in some way, but I'm not sure what to coach them on specifically. You can always go to these sites like mine or anybody else's and see what topics are sort of front and center, because we're kind of keeping abreast of what is going on. So that's kind of a little insider tip there. This is super important. I alluded to this a moment ago, that don't ever use PLR exactly the way that you got it. You always want to customize it with your branding, your own details, your own examples and stories. That doesn't mean that you have to rewrite the whole thing, but you want to make sure that it sounds like you and it has your voice in it. That's just really, really important. And I have done that, as I will share in a little bit here. And it's really not as difficult as it might sound. When I was thinking about this talk today, I was realizing that I have, over the years, since I've been a coach and I started in 2016, I've really considered PLR providers to be sort of part of my team. I'm a solopreneur. I do everything myself. And even though I'm a professional writer and educator, sometimes I just need a little help. I need a little jump start. I need some new ideas, some fresh ways of looking at things. And that is how I have used PLR in the past for myself. Is I have really looked at it as a jumping off point, as, like I said, a source of fresh ideas to get me looking at things from a new perspective. What is really interesting, and I'll just tell you this right here, is that one of my most popular online courses ever, I'm not going to tell you which one it was. If you bought one from me, I'm not going to tell you what it was. But one of the most popular ones ever was the result of a 2-page piece of private label rights content that I purchased for like $1.50. And I turned it into an entire online course that I sold for $200 or $300. I can't remember. And people still talk to me about this class. I'm thinking of rebooting it because it was so popular. So just to say, sometimes when you see something new and you're like, okay, I think I can do something with this. I can make, this is like my clay, and I can start molding it and shaping it into something that really suits my business and my clients. And I think they'll really like it. You can really, the sky is the limit. All right, let me just take a quick pause. Are there any questions at this moment about what done for you content is, what private label rights content means, and all of that? Are we all good? I just wanted to set the table, so to speak, to make sure that we were all on the same wavelength about what kind of content we're actually talking about. Usually when someone provides, awesome, Craig, usually when someone provides and sells this kind of content, like I said, they will have a set of do's and don'ts. And typically the don'ts are things like, you can't resell it to someone else, things like that. And also, like in my case, you can't put my name on it anywhere. It has to be, your name. So, with anyone, just make sure that you see the rules so you know what to do and what not to do. All right. Awesome. Thanks, you guys. Okay, let's go back to our lovely slideshow. Okay, so here's where we're going to go now. I'm going to share with you the types of brandable content that I believe work best for private coaching. I'm going to share a way to structure and price a private coaching package. And then I'm going to talk about how to create a premium priced private coaching offer using done for you content. And throughout all of this, I will explain how this benefits both you and the person on the receiving end of your coaching. So let's talk about one-to-one coaching offers using this type of content. So why do we even offer one-to-one coaching? For me, when I first started, it was the simplest type of offer to make because I didn't really know how to do coaching per se. I had been a university instructor and I had taught online for many years. So I was familiar with interacting with people in that way. And I, worked very closely with students on their writing and things like that. But, the thought of creating like a group program coaching program right out of the gate, I was like, oh, no. I need to start simpler. And I had, a way to take payments. I had PayPal and I had a Zoom account. So I was like, okay, I've got enough to get started. And also, you can charge more because it's personal attention, obviously. So I think those are some great reasons to do one-to-one coaching. I'm curious, those of you who are here live, how many of you primarily do one-to-one coaching with people? I think I was looking back one time and I did one-to-one coaching. Jeanette says you do. I did one-to-one coaching exclusively for more than a year, for sure. And I still did one-to-one coaching in other things, within other things while I was doing some groups and other stuff. But I kept doing one-to-one coaching throughout until just fairly recently. Hi, Nina, me, but I'm shifting to group coaching. Yeah, I feel like, and here's the funny thing, just as an aside here. So just today, I was talking with my husband about a very specific type of one-to-one kind of a concierge / coaching offer that I have been contemplating putting together. So I'm still definitely interested in working with people this way. I really enjoy it. So let me know in the chat if this sounds at all familiar. So one problem that I've seen with people offering private coaching is that it's not focused on a specific result, or the result is too vague. So let me know if that rings any bells, because a lot of times when I've been working with other coaches, helping them with their business, I will see their one-to-one offer and it's just too fuzzy. Like I can't tell exactly what they're trying to help the person to do. As Susan says, you've always worked best one-to-one. Yeah. So this is something that this type of content can really help with, because the last thing that we want is to have anything looking foggy or fuzzy. When people come to your website or wherever you're attracting people to, we want things to be clear. Otherwise, it's kind of scary. It's like, what am I getting myself into here? I saw this image and I was like, this is kind of how it feels sometimes when I look at some of these one-to-one coaching offers and the result just isn't clear. It's just not stated plainly enough. People want to know where they're going, and this is where done for you content can be a tremendous help. So let me show you why. So really good, operative word, good, done for you content is well organized and it's written by a professional. And what it will do is it provides you with a framework that you can use to give people more structure, which is what they typically need. I don't want to harp on this point too much, but I have seen a lot in the life coaching sphere of life coaches who will offer a coaching program where they'll say things like, you'll have a better experience of your life when we work together, or, things will start to change and you'll be happier, or something like that. I'm kind of exaggerating, but also kind of not. So if you're here live in the chat, give me a signal, a yes, if that sounds at all familiar to you, because I've seen this a lot. And I think one of the reasons, Linda says 3 principles coaching. Yeah, but it's not just 3 principles based life coaching. It's a lot of different kinds of life coaching that I've seen where it's just too fuzzy. And if I were on the client side, I think I would be kind of frustrated at how it was, there wasn't any structure behind it. And when I look back at my first year as a coach, I can definitely see now that I would have been better off had I had more structure to what I was doing. I wish I could go back in time and do it again, but I can't, but that's okay. So, hindsight's always 2020. But even if you do what you might call transformational life coaching, I really want you to think about how you might be able to make it easier for you, and also a more impactful experience for the person that you're working with. So let's talk about, oops, there's a typo, types of brandable content that work best for private coaching. Let's move away from that side. Okay. I really feel like there are three main types of this kind of content that work very well for private coaching. The first is courses, and I'll explain why, scripts, and I'll explain why, and journals, and I'll explain why in just a sec. One reason I like all three of these types of content is because they are all structured. So if you buy one of my course books, which is essentially a 5-lesson course that's all written out that you can, take and use in any format that you like, I have written that in such a way that the lessons follow one another. So it's a very nice structure. This is the same with the higher quality providers of private label rights content as well, is you will see that it's very nicely structured. It goes in order. What I would call lesser quality providers will often put something together that's very haphazard. I bought some recently at a low price to see what it was, and it was just, everything was kind of in the wrong order. It didn't make any sense to me. It was just very haphazard. So again, you do get what you pay for here. Scripts are really good because if somebody has written a video or an audio script, again, they have really thought through how someone would listen to this, how someone would absorb it. They've really taken the time to make sure that it flows very nicely. And you can use the basic structure for your coaching sessions. I'll talk about that in a second. Journals as well. I just recently started offering these, and this is so interesting to me because these journals take me a long time to write, because I'm writing them as if I am a coach and the client, and I'm thinking through the progression of prompts and questions, because I'm thinking a coach could take this journal and structure a wonderful private coaching series around the questions in here, and I want them to go in an order that makes sense. So, and that's the same with other journals that I have seen that people sell like this, that, this is a very structured and thought through process. And you might think, well, I really prefer more of a free form sort of coaching relationship. My answer to that is I would try this and see if you still think that, because when I started to structure my coaching more, I really found it to be much more helpful for me and much more helpful to the client as well. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to click the ask a question and type it there. So here is a shameless plug, and I'll give you an example from one of my course books. These are 4,000 to 5,000 words, and they're presented in a Canva template that you can edit. So this is just one of 9 that I have right now, with more to come. This one is called Cultivate Self-Love. And you can see that it has an overall theme, and it also has a result, how to be at peace with the person you are. So you could say something like a 30-day one-to-one coaching program to help you feel more at peace with the person you are. Something very simple like that. You don't need to go into a huge thing about the result, but it's more concrete than saying, oh, you're just going to feel better, or you're going to be happier, or your life is going to change. And again, like all really good done for you content, it's organized so that people are going through a progressive journey and you can take them there. So for example, each chapter can be the basis of that week's coaching with the client. And again, as I write these, and I know as other providers write theirs, they're thinking about this. They're thinking, how can this content be used in a variety of situations? And for a one-to-one client, you could do something like that, one chapter a week, or you could break it down even further, because most of the content that I write, and also some of the high quality content that I've seen, is very, very rich. So you could spread it out even over longer, or you could just take, bits of it and use that. But you're getting more of a structure here. And for me, that is just a great thing for both you and the person on the receiving end. And of course, like most content like this, you can take the content out of the original format. So mine comes in a Canva template. Other PLR providers, some do provide it in a Canva template or a Word file or whatever. You can take the content out of there. You can use it for notes for the client calls. This is one of my favorite things to do. You could use it as a script to record audio messages for the client. So for example, if you wanted to have a situation where they would listen to something that you've recorded, so you could use the content of a done for you course to, read as a script, and then give them that audio message. And then you can meet with them in a few days where they've had time to listen to it. I've had great success doing things like that myself, and clients really appreciate being able to access something and listen to it and kind of take their time. I'll talk about this more in just a moment. You can also use the prompts or any questions in a course for, during the client calls as questions to ask them, anything that will help make this a much more fluid experience for you and for them is all good. I also really like audio and video scripts because they provide you, again, with sort of a curriculum that you can use with a one-to-one client. And so you can make note of the parts of the script that you like. You can add your own stories and examples. You can use the script to help guide the coaching sessions. As I said a moment ago, you can use them to record audios or even videos that you want to send to people. Anything like that is going to enhance the experience. So are you starting to see the possibilities here for what this kind of content can do for one-to-one coaching? I also wanted to mention journals. I have 4 of these at the moment 3 with, I'm working on the 4th one, with more to come. But again, these are great because they give you a place to start, and they're also really nice to provide to the client. So you can follow the structure. You can use the questions during the coaching sessions. You can provide the prompts and have your client answer them between sessions. You can give them the journal as a PDF, or you can print it out professionally and mail it to them. You can use it, as I said, to create audio messages. Really, the sky is the limit here. But what we're trying to do, and I hope that this is coming through, is that we're trying to make this experience of coaching someone more robust, I would say, and not overwhelming, but in a way that really makes it a very memorable experience for them, and also saves you time and gives them something that's more tangible. Mary says, yes, I like the structure and well thought out progression of the journals. I'm guessing, Mary, because I think you're a fan of those. I think they're really, really cool. Thanks, Mary. Craig says, I used to prefer structure myself before coaching. Then as a coach, got used to coaching without structure, showing what shows up, dealing with what shows up. But for sure, see that some clients may be attracted to structure like you wanted originally. Yeah, exactly. So when I think about how I was coached, because I had a coach for a little while, it was not structured. And I think I would have done better with a structure, frankly. I just really think that would have helped me. So I think that's why I'm making such a big point of this. All right, let me stop sharing for a moment. Are there any questions? Yeah, and Craig, exactly, about making it more memorable. If you think about this might be the only time that a person goes through any sort of coaching process, right? And I want to do everything that I can to make it not just impactful, but memorable, truly. And, I feel like the more that we can plan ahead, the more that we can really think about what the experience is for them. What are they going to be receiving? Are they going to be able to take something with them other than just what happens inside? Are they going to be able to have something tangible? I mean, even something like a series of audio recordings, even something like a downloadable journal with some questions for reflection, something that even as simple as that. I have seen in my own experience coaching people what a difference that can make. It makes a big difference to people. Hi, Jeanette. I'm not used to having such structured coaching calls. I see your point, the tangible part. I get that, we like to have flexibility. I totally get that. And I'm not saying that we can't ever vary, from the structure. We can obviously allow for spontaneity. I do feel though that a lot of times as coaches, we need to be more cognizant of what the coachee's experience is. And I have seen that people can benefit greatly, especially in a one-to-one setting, when they are following some kind of structure. All right, I'm going to keep going, and any questions come up, feel free to put them where it says ask a question. And Hian, I believe that was your name. I hope that answered in part. I'm going to talk about it a bit more. Oh, Craig says, yes, I can see that. Even if a coaching session remained unstructured, I can see these materials can provide valuable reinforcement. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Yeah. Because I don't know if this has happened to you. I'm guessing maybe it has, that you have a session with someone and then in between the sessions, like nothing really happens. This is a way to continue the relationship even between the sessions. All right. So here's where we are now. This last part, I'm going to go a little bit faster through because it's going to be very obvious what we're talking about. So I have a particular way of structuring and pricing a private coaching package that I wanted to share with you because it has literally worked like magic. And that is selling your coaching as unlimited phone or Zoom calls, messages, audios, videos, whatever format you're using. So instead of saying you get X number of calls per month, you say it's unlimited. And I have found this to work so incredibly well. It's amazing because the client really feels supported and not rushed. They're not calculating the price per hour. I have found that the phone and Zoom calls can be shorter. This is a biggie that people have told me about, that there's no pressure to quote unquote perform on a call when they know that they can reach out when they need a call with you, or they can reach out via message or however you're communicating with them. They don't feel this pressure to kind of save everything up until they get on the call with you once a week. And again, the done for you content can provide the structure. So it's still structured even though the calls themselves are unlimited. And this has just been a massively helpful thing to me. I found that people are really happy to pay more for this type of access to you. So you charge a flat fee for X number of weeks or months. And I have definitely not seen people take advantage of it. Let me just see if there are any questions. Do you unlimited? Do you still have scheduled sessions? No, I don't. Nope. Let's see. Hi, Mimi. Based on your experience, do clients prefer video or audio when you do one-to-one coaching? Yes, giving them content to either listen to or watch. It's interesting, Mimi, because I hope this doesn't sound bad, but I want to do it kind of the way I want to do it. So if you enjoy doing video, then tell people it's video coaching. If you enjoy doing audio, tell them it's audio coaching. Do you know what I mean? So I have had people enjoy both, but it was really because I set the parameters. I'm the coach. I'm the person in charge. I'm saying, this is how it works. And when I offered video coaching, certain people signed up for that. When I offered coaching via audio. Certain people signed up for that. And it was really based on what I wanted to provide. So I hope that sounds all right. Let's see. Marianne. Hi, Marianne. For Unlimited, do you have office hours or other boundaries? So in that case, great question. I would say to them that, I'm available at these times of the day. But if you want to have a chat with me, just message me and I'll give you my calendar and you can sign up for a time. That's literally how it went. If I was doing unlimited coaching using an app like Voxer, then I would say I will get back to you within 24 hours and I'm off on the weekends, that kind of thing. But I've really never had anyone abuse this privilege at all. In fact, what I have found is that there are far fewer calls and fewer messages and more activity, more actual follow through and things like that. It's been very interesting. I'll give an example in just a second. So thanks for that question, Marianne. All right, let's go to our final segment here. How y'all doing? You doing good? I hope this is helpful. Let me know in the chat how you're doing here. Okay, good. All right, excellent. Let me close this. Okay, so we've talked about the types of brandable content that work best for private coaching. I said courses, scripts, and journals. I really recommend doing an unlimited flat fee kind of setup. So now I'm going to briefly tell you how you can make a more higher priced private coaching offer using done for you content. And I have to tell you, I love this part so much. I have structured a lot of my private coaching this way. Some of you will recognize this setup if you've worked with me. This is how you do it. You provide an online or digital component along with your private coaching, and you can create that online or digital component with done for you content. This is why this is so cool. So what could you do? What could you take this PLR content and do with it that would accompany your private coaching? This is just 6 very simple ideas. You could do an online course with video, like you on video, or slides. You could do an online course with audio only. You could do a written course sent by email. I mean, how easy is that? You could do a simple audio series and just put it on SoundCloud and just send the links every few days, in between the calls. You could have a journal or workbook, as we talked about. You could use some sort of ebook. But I'm telling you, this is so great. This is so great. This is like taking what we were talking before and, bumping it up a notch. So here is an example from my own business. I have done this more than once, but I'm thinking of one program in particular where I saw some really good content online and it was $500 to get the license for it. And I was like, wow, okay, that's, a fair amount of investment, but it seems pretty clear that I could make that back, no problem. So I bought the content. I took everything that was there. It was sort of a script, but not really. I recorded it in my own voice with slides that had my branding. It was very simple. I think I might have even done them on Canva. And I added in my own examples. It did not take long to do this. I provided the online course to the client before we even met for the first time. So when they paid for the coaching package, they got immediate access to this online course. And I told them they could start going through it. And then when we would meet the first time, we would check in and see what they had learned. Well, in one instance, the client achieved the result that they were looking for before we even met for our first call. I could not believe it. I see your question. I'll get to that in a second, Jeanette. So the person signed up to work with me based on, what the topic of this course and the coaching was. We had, the call where she signed up to work with me and, paid the fee. And then I said, okay, we'll talk again in a couple of days, just, dive into the material. Well, in a couple of days, she had already achieved her financial goal. And I had charged $2,000, and I literally spent about 2 hours total, because we had that first call, which was like 30 minutes. And then I don't even know if it was 2 hours over the month. It was one of these unlimited things. It might have been maybe another half hour later. I don't even think we talked that much. I think 2 hours is actually an exaggeration, but she was able to get what she needed. And then I was there if she wanted some more support, but in actuality, she didn't even really need me. So Jeanette said, did you sell before you bought and edit yourself? Yes, I did, Jeanette, because I was pretty sure that I could sell it. Let me stop sharing because I see a question just popped up. So I gave them access to the whole thing up front, Linda said. Yes, I gave them, they paid the $2,000 up front. So I gave them access to the course right away. And and they just went through what they wanted to go through. They actually didn't go through the whole thing. They said they got their answer in one section of it. And then they just went ahead and, followed through on what they learned. And by the time we met, the person had already enrolled several people in something. So that was just super exciting. And that was not an anomaly, by the way. It absolutely wasn't. Let me go. I don't know if I have this on the slides or not. Let me see. I might have removed this slide. Let's just see. Oh, yeah. So other times I charged $2,000 to $3,000 and had 4 or 5 calls with the client. But they always in this setup exceeded their goals because they had the online course as more support and they could keep it forever. So, one of the things about coaching is I don't want to create a relationship where someone feels like they need me all the time. So this is a really cool way to support them as a coach, but also give them something that they can go back to anytime they want to. So I loved this because I created that whole online thing using done for you content, and you can do it any way you want. I could have just created audio recordings and some written materials. At that time, I was into using slides. I'd probably do it differently. You can do any combination you want, but for something like that, I would definitely charge a minimum of $2,000 for something that you've made online plus a month of your one-to-one time. So are you starting to see even more possibilities? I hope so. All right, let me just stop sharing here. I see a couple more questions have popped up. Craig says, so that was combined with unlimited coaching for a period. Yes, Craig, that was a month of unlimited, 30 days of unlimited coaching, plus it included the online course, and I was charging $2,000. I think I charged $4,000 when somebody wanted to work with me for 2 months. I just doubled the price. But I remember one case in particular like that, where the person had the goal of making I want to say $12,000, and they did that rapidly, and they just wanted some other support going forward in kind of an adjunct area. So we just kept going for another month. Linda says, what did you use for the audio video recording? I think for that particular one, I used Canva. I made the slides in Canva, and then in Canva, you can just record a slideshow. And I think that's what I did. I didn't use anything fancy. I always tend to just use my earbuds here. And, I keep it as simple as possible, even though I love technology. All right. Thank you for the great questions, everybody. Yeah, that was super cool. All right. I'm going to give you a bonus little secret here as we are coming to the end. Are you ready? Bonus insider secret coming up. You could literally build your coaching business from just one course book of mine, course book audio kit, or even a journal. So the course books, like I said, are 4,000 to 5,000 words. I've also turned them into audio scripts. So I've taken the original 4,000 to 5,000 words and I have written it out as an audio script that you can read and add in your own examples, or even a journal. Because the reason I'm saying this is because if you want to just focus on one topic, if you find a really great piece of done for you content, whether it's from me or anybody else, you can create multiple offers over time. You can start with private coaching. Then you can take what you've done with private coaching and turn it into a group coaching program. You can take it and make it into an online course that you then offer with your private coaching and your group coaching. You can turn parts of it into an ebook and so on. Literally just from one piece of really great done for you content. Like, I actually thought at one point that I could take that one that I did with the private coaching people that got such great results. I was like, you know what? I could just base my whole business on this. It still has occurred to me every once in a while because it worked so well. I thought, you know, I could just do that. And that would have been a $500 investment that already had made me tens of thousands of dollars and could make a lot more. So you don't have to make things complicated. You can really do something like this and it makes your life so much easier. So we've covered a lot in a short span of time, the types of content that work best for private coaching, how to structure a private coaching package as an unlimited flat fee kind of situation, and how you can use done for you content to include an online or digital component so you can charge even more. All right, one more pause for questions, and then I've got a surprise for you. Anybody else have any questions? I'd love to know in the chat what you have been most excited to hear. If you'd like to share that, that would be amazing. I just love all of this so much, in case you can't tell. It's just so much fun. All right, I have a surprise for you. Da, 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 da. All right, let me go to your comments. Craig, uses only limited by the imagination. Absolutely, Craig. It's totally true. Like, really, there is so much you can do with this. And the whole point is you don't have to start from scratch. I don't want you to start from scratch. Thank you, Nina. Jeanette says, I love to try a coaching call structure based on the stress material that I wrote. Yeah, I mean, you could totally do that. That's a really nice one, to lessen your stress, because it walks people through a process. And so that would be really good. So for registering for this workshop today, I would love to offer you a 50% savings on anything in the course book shop except for the bundle. So that means a course book, an audio kit. The audio expansion pack is simply the audio script without the original course, or a journal. So I will send this out afterwards and give you the link, but it's just Profits 50 and it's good through tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. So if you want something in the shop, I am happy to give it to you for half off. Let's see. Hi, in ear pricing for a couple of hours coaching. Yeah, I know, that was really amazing. I didn't know that would happen, but it was truly something. So, you know, it just showed me that when you have something great to start with, you know, you can do almost anything with it. So all you have to do is go to maryschiller.com and click on shop and use that Profits 50 to save 50%. That's hard to say. Profits 50 to save 50% on any done for you product in the shop, except for the bundles. And I also wanted to say that if you are in a place where you are thinking it might be helpful to have someone like me help you create your next coaching offer, whether it's a private coaching offer or something else, just click the green button here to book a free call with me. It is a free 15-minute Zoom call. I'll see where you are and you can see what I can offer you. And then if you're interested, we can work together. And when you sign up for the free call, you'll see all of the details. you'll see all of the details there, so you'll know what the price is and all of that. I don't hide anything or keep any of that a secret. You're very welcome, Mimi. I don't know how you can use audio versions for your language. Oh, that's interesting, Jeanette. Yeah, you would probably have to do some translation there. So any other questions before we sign off? I will let me just put the link to the shop here in the chat so that you have it. And I will also put the discount code there. I'm also going to send this out. Profits 50 until 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, Friday. I'm so glad this was helpful. Yeah. Did you feel like it was worth your time? Because that's so important to me. Really, really. Oh, you're so welcome. And it was a joy to be here with you. And again, if you feel like you want to just talk with me to see if I could help in some way, really just don't hesitate to book a free call. That's what they're for. There's no obligation or anything like that. It's really just to see if I can be of help to you, because as I said earlier, my mission is to help you live your dream life and to make everything you want happen. So don't hesitate to reach out to me anytime. You can always email me, mary@maryschiller.com. You can find me on Instagram and message me there. And I'm going to be offering lots more of these. So with that, I will say farewell. Thank you so much, Mimi. Hi, Tyson. Thank you so much. I really had a ball, and the replay will be available right here on this page a few minutes after the workshop ends. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, is it Han? I hope I'm saying that right. I hate when I mispronounce people's names. So thank you very much. And I hope that you will take advantage of the Profits 50 discount and shop to your heart's content. And I would love to hear what you create. So feel free to reach out and let me know. Thanks so much. Oh, thank you, Han. All right, everybody. I will see you again very soon. Stay tuned for the next workshop date, because it'll probably be sometime next week-ish. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.